Welcome everybody to this webinar regarding HubSpot codes and DealHub CPQ. We'll basically do a practical comparison for you HubSpot users. So conscious of time, we're gonna get started. We have about 45 minutes for this webinar. Maybe before we start, some practical arrangements. So first of all, you can communicate with us via chats. Your questions will be answered at the end of the webinar, and the slides and recording will be shared with the participants afterwards. So before we dive into it, maybe presenting the team today. So first of all, we have the team from Elixir, where you have Fabian Meyer, who is a sales manager at Elixir DACH. He will be presenting, he will doing a DealHub demo today. Secondly, we have Wouter Heesbergsen, who is the managing director at Elixir the Netherlands, who will talk more about CPQ within the RevOps framework. And then myself, I'm Karel from Elixir, and I will be doing a small demo on HubSpot quoting. We also have a few special guests today. So we have Sam from DealHub, and we have Thomas from HubSpot. Sam will do a short intro into DealHub, and both will be assisting us during the Q&A at the end of the session. So that's the team for today. I wish you all very welcome to this webinar. So what are the topics of today? We're going to start off with a very short introduction about Elixir, so you know who is organizing this webinar. Then we'll explain what CPQ is within the RevOps framework. Then we'll do a HubSpot quoting demo, some words about it as well. And then we'll show also why DealHub CPQ can be a good solution for a certain type of clients. And finally, we'll give you a comparison of HubSpot quoting versus DealHub CPQ, when to use the one and when to use the other. And we'll be ending with a Q&A. Okay, great. So if that's fine for you, let's get into it. So let's start with a few words about Elixir. We'll keep it very short. So our tagline is "Your business smarter." We are a HubSpot consulting company focused on commercial organizations, and we'll help them to outsmart their competition. So we do not see ourselves as an HubSpot agency, rather a consulting company focused on sales, marketing, customer service, and back office integrations. We see ourselves as digital business engineers, where we combine digitalization with pure business consulting and like more the technical side, where we see ourselves more as engineers. We typically do more advanced HubSpot projects for upper mid-market clients and corporate clients, for whom we reimagine their digital processes. We are highly accredited HubSpot partner. We are also certified DealHub partner, and we have clients mainly in North America and Europe. You can see them here on the map. We have offices in Brussels, Munich, Cologne, Paris, and Amsterdam, and we speak 5 languages. Here you see some of our customers. We have, of course, much more, but it gives you a bit an impression of the types of clients we work with today. Voila, so this is small introduction into Elixir. I now hand over the word to Wouter, who will explain us more about CPQ and how that fits the CPQ RevOps framework.
Very good. Thank you very much, Carl.
Stop sharing if you want to share your slides yourself.
Right.
Should I share that?
Yeah, if you can share.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's keep on. Ja.
Aber geil ist auch einfach Christoph mit seiner E-Mail dann wieder hier, bevor es noch weiter. Ne?
Can somebody unmute or mute Marcus? Yeah, thank you. Good. Well, today we're going to compare CPQ solutions, but I think it's wise to, first of all, have a short definition on what is CPQ. And plus also I would like to put it in the RevOps funnel or the RevOps framework. That is really a framework that is full funnel focused. And maybe the next slide, Carl. The CPQ itself, it stands for Configure, Price, Quote. So in fact, it is software with a business rules engine behind it to properly configure the products, make selections of options and the possibilities or impossibilities, so to speak. And this helps your sales rep really guide through the process, or guided selling, so to speak, to properly quote and tailor the quote towards customers' needs, without making any errors, so to speak, because the errors can take place when knowledge falls short. And not only that, it's also pricing configuration, which means that when you have options, the price can increase or decrease, and you should know about that when tailoring your quote. At the end of the day, you would like to generate a proposal, which is a good sales proposal for making a valid decision. And not only that, it also includes an approval process, so that the sales rep in itself is supported throughout the whole process of creating a quote and sending it out in a proper way. Carl, next slide. So where does it fit actually in the funnel? So if you look at this funnel, this is called a bow tie funnel, which means on the left side, you'll see the customer acquisition portion. On the right side, the customer success, which means you have gained your customer and you want to cross and upsell. I would like to focus a bit more on the left side, where we educate people towards the sale. And in this education, then we see actually a couple of bottlenecks, especially on the in the decision phase. Maybe next hit. So you see what happens when you do not have a CPQ in place. That means that a lot of errors can take place when you manually try to configure your quote based on some catalog options, so to speak. Not to speak about the errors that take place when you make manual calculations around the options, maybe in an Excel spreadsheet or whatever you have. Plus, a third bottleneck usually is that it is very inconsistent. So the user or the customer, so to speak, perceives this document maybe in a very inconsistent way, can be confused. And then, of course, what I already mentioned, how about an approval process and a delay? And the whole focus of this bow tie funnel, as you can see, is the volume, the time, and the conversion metrics, so that it's a scalable engine, so to speak, to convert people through the sales funnel. Now, this will really, these bottlenecks will really influence the conversion time and customer satisfaction. Next. Then you see that the time to close a deal will increase where it actually is supposed to decrease. The conversion ratio will decrease because maybe there is frustration and less customer satisfaction in this place. So what we try to show you today is that the business rules engine for a CPQ solution really solves this problem. Next slide, Carl. In the sales process, I always use the teach, tailor, and take control approach from the challenger sale. You may know about this. In the teach part, you really educate your client about the options that they can choose of and what are the pros and the cons and so on. And then you have your client in this funnel, either through online marketing or even through proper documentation on the side from the sales rep to tailor a quote. And then at the end of the day, of course, also take control of the approval, as well as take control of the negotiation and ordering process. And that's where actually the CPQ, as you can see at the bottom of this slide, fits in. Next slide. And that ends up in good results because with a good proper business rules engine like a CPQ solution, you can reduce the sales cycle length, so sell more in less time, increase the percentage of wins, as well as the deal value can be increased because you have proper discounting rules or lower or higher the margin based on cross and upsell capabilities. Now, this is really in a nutshell what CPQ can mean for you, and it fits really right well in the decision phase and maybe even before that in the educational phase. So we'd like to dive in two types of solutions, and Carl will take over from here from the HubSpot quoting, and then we will move into the comparison on the DealHub. Over to you.
Thanks, Wouter, for this introduction and putting things in perspective. This is really interesting. So now I'm just gonna start with the HubSpot quoting tool. So first of all, the HubSpot quoting tool is a great tool for clients that need pure quoting functionality. So let's also be very, transparent. It is not a full-fledged CPQ, but it's still a very interesting feature for many clients. And we really distinguish in two types of clients that use the HubSpot quoting tool. First of all, we have what we call the simple cases, where the standard HubSpot quoting tool is used. And that allows you to, easily create a quote. It gives you great time to value. It gives you great user experience. It's also quite powerful with a digital signature and payment options and stuff like that. You will have to nevertheless add pricing manually, add discounts manually and stuff like that, right? So this is a simple case for which I will give you a quick demo in a few seconds, but we also see more advanced cases at Elixir where using the Elixir technology platform, we will extend the HubSpot quoting not only with custom quote templates that can have business logic in it, but even with certain price calculations based on ERP data, based on HubSpot playbooks, based on deal data, which will allow you to have some kind of pricing functionality in HubSpot, which is kind of cool. Secondly, if we can pull out logistics information, for example, from your SAP system, it will allow you also to display product availability to your salespeople. So this is, the two typical cases that we see in HubSpot. I will now dive into HubSpot to show you the first simple case, and then I will also explain how a second case, an extended case, may look like. So I will switch now to HubSpot, if you bear with me for a moment. Yes. And then this. If all is good, you can see my screen, and I'm now on HubSpot deal. Can you see the HubSpot deal?
Yes, we can, Carl.
All right. Okay. I assume that most people or all people in the audience know HubSpot, so I will not explain how HubSpot works and looks like. But what you see here is HubSpot deal, for which I have already an assigned contact and an assigned company. As a sales rep, you can easily create a quote. And by clicking on this button, you get into this guided procedure consisting out of 6 simple steps. And this works out of the box standard in HubSpot, which is, of course, fantastic. It gives you a number of options in the first step, like the quote template that you can choose from. So we're now using the basic template from HubSpot, but you can even make your own. We can add some other things like customer name, domain, expiry date, and so on. I personally like this kind of comments to the buyer, where we can, for example, we can use the snippets here and we say comment on quotes, some shipment information. We can have also purchase terms, like, okay, payment terms and warranty information. And you can see on the right-hand side, actually, that you have a preview of the quote, and the text I'm filling in on those fields is appearing automatically for you. So you can really see immediately the effects of your changes here. So that's kind of kind of nice. Then if I go to the next step, you see, you know, the contact person and the company you have on your deal. I can, if need be, add another contact. If I proceed, I will see my own details. So this is coming from the, you know, user data in HubSpot, and here you have, you know, the customer from your branding settings in HubSpot. So this is added here. You can see it here in the header. Of course, with the code template, you can manipulate that, and it's all quite easy and fast, right? As a sales rep, I just click on next, and I get into the line item editor here. What is nice is that as a sales rep, you can actually create a custom line item here. So even if the product is not in the catalog, HubSpot allows you to create a custom line item. I will not do that. I will just select from the product library, where I can filter here on the folders, where I could like take the product from the webinar. I can also search here, or I can actually also have views where I can select also the products from the webinar, right? I'm selecting here two types of products. I'm selecting here a subscription product at €60 per month, and I'm selecting also a more tangible product, right? So I'm adding this to the line item editor here, and I can immediately see that the first one is a subscription product with terms of 12 months, monthly payment, unit price, and what is kind of nice, it gives you also, you know, the MRR, the ARR, and TCV here, right? And then here below, I have the normal product, which has no term, it's just a one-time payment, and I can see the price here as well. So I can add here also a discount. Let's say that this one is 20 and the other is 9. But if you don't want to do it manually, I can put global terms, and let's say I can put 14% global terms, then it will allow, well, it will just put 14% and it becomes read only. So this kind of a bit of discounting functionality, but it's something you need to do yourself. I will add here also, you could add discounts or one-time fees. In this case, I will just add VAT because it's a domestic customer. And in Belgium, we pay 21% of VAT. This all comes nicely on my quote. Super convenient, super quick, super easy to do. Then this is almost at the end. I can add a e-signature here. I can say that Johnny is gonna sign for the client. You know, I'm gonna sign for, you know, the company, and we could potentially also enable payments. You can see here, for example, with the signatures, that a signature area has been added again on the fly to my quote. So that's kind of easy, convenient, and still powerful, fully aligned with the HubSpot philosophy. If I click on next, I see a final preview of the quote, and if I like it, I can publish it. So HubSpot will create for you a web page, and that web page here, I can copy that link, or I can actually, you know, if I would click on this button, it will open the email editor from within HubSpot with a link to the quote, and I can send that quote as a direct link to the prospect. If you enable it, you can even also set some basic, you know, validation flows where your manager needs to approve the quote. That's a basic functionality that also exists. So now I have created the quote here on my deal. You can see it here. It's pending signature. If I would go here to the quotes overview here, I can see the quote I created with the amount, the status, etc. And I can also see some actions here as well. So far for the basic HubSpot quoting, I assume that most people know it, but I thought it was still valuable to show how that works. If you want to dive in more, the more advanced cases that I mentioned. So I will just give you an inspirational case here. So imagine you want to extend your quote with some custom functionalities, let's say in terms of pricing, discounting, and also adding contract stipulations. That's also possible using you know, the Elixir technology platform. That's a platform we built ourselves to extend HubSpot. So one example could be that as a sales rep, you enter a playbook where you answer a few questions regarding the customer, the deal, the opportunity, whatever. That, of course, can be added to some custom properties on the deal, for example. We could also add data from your ERP system, pull that in, for example, payment terms, Incoterms, yearly revenue, and so on. And based on HubSpot workflows, we can do a number of calculations, taking into account the playbook data, the SAP data, even company data, or whatever other data you want to use, and make calculations that will determine the conditions, so the pricing, the discounts, and even contract stipulations. And with some more automations, we can actually, in the background, generate that quote. We can generate that quote, determining in the background the quote templates, contract stipulations, all that kind of stuff. And you, as a sales rep, the only thing you need to do then is to open the predefined quotes, validate the things that have been said, and send it out to the client. The moment the client approves, signs, validates, you get that confirmation in HubSpot, and then we can automatically send it in SAP, where it can be processed and the logistic process can take place. So this is a more advanced example of how we can leverage HubSpot quoting for more advanced use cases. I will now give the word to first Sam and then Fabian, who will showcase what more you can do with DealHub for the more extended use cases as well. So Sam, the word is yours.
Thank you, Carl. Yes, so you can already skip, to the next slide. So when we designed DealHub, we had a different philosophy in mind from traditional CPQs. DealHub was designed to address all of the users that are involved in generating a quote, from the operations team to the sales rep and the end customer. DealHub, is very well positioned in the industry. If we take a look at what you see on this slide, which is g2.com, if you're not familiar, it's a site where users rate the solutions that they're actually using. So for the past 5 years, DealHub has been ranked the #1 CPQ. And we also rank in their top categories. But the one that I like the most is the top 50 products for sale. This is a report that comes out once a year, listing the top sales solutions that organizations use. And on the list, you'll find solutions like HubSpot and Gong and others. And we're currently ranked within the top 10. And I think this report kind of really demonstrates how much our solution is being used by sales organizations. Next slide, please. So we refer to DealHub as a next-gen CPQ because it offers more than just a CPQ. DealHub provides, configure price quote, CLM, subscription management, billing, and the ability to also generate content in a traditional Word or PDF format, but also in a more engaging web environment that we call DealRoom. Next slide, please. So DealHub uses a unique method of guided selling that we refer to as a sales playbook. A playbook is a configurable questionnaire. It's built as a decision tree, and it walks the salesperson through the configuration process. Playbooks can be personalized and dynamically changed according to the products and services that you're selling, the region you're selling to, and any other requirements. And playbooks are designed to be intuitive. We want to take the discovery process your sales reps typically go through with their customers and map that into DealHub. So learning to use DealHub is easy because DealHub is adapted to the way your sales teams already work rather than having them to change the way they work today. And as a salesperson works through the playbook, DealHub automatically generates the right products and services with the relevant pricing, as well as any relevant sales and even legal content that needs to be included. Thank you.
Okay, great. I think next step is that we show you a demo of DealHub integrated in HubSpot. Fabian, the floor is yours. I will stop sharing. So
yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Sam, for setting the stage. You saw already a glimpse of what we are capable of doing with HubSpot quoting. And I now want to give you a first taste of how DealHub looks like and what it differs from the HubSpot quoting. And you see here now, I'm also starting at the same position as Carl did in a deal in HubSpot. And instead of using the HubSpot standard functionality, using the quoting tool here, I have it as a CRM card implemented in the deal. This is now DealHub here, and it's fully integrated and yeah, seamlessly embedded in the object, that there's no disadvantage in the usability for the users. So I can start the process right here by clicking on it, and then I'm opening up the so-called playbook. Sam mentioned that already. And the good thing of the integration we have here is that all of the customer data, the geography, the currency is all transferred to DealHub, and that ends up in that products, prices are then defined for the right region. So if I'm then having different products in different countries, the products and prices are then directly here affected in the playbook, and the salesperson does not need to change that, and there's no room for mistakes. And on top of that playbook, you can see here that we can set up some basic configurations in the beginning, and afterwards we have some logical groups the salesperson will go through one by one. And it ends up in the product summary. And in that product summary, I will show you that during the demo, we can see in real time that all of the settings I do during the configuration of the quote, that things will pop up here, and that they will adjust depending on some configurations. But going back to the start, I will go through the process one by one. In that case here, we have an example of a SaaS product. So software as a service, where we offer that as a product, as licenses, but also we have the project implementation services and also service and support packages. Afterwards, I can also do some adjustments on the contract, and also add additional information materials, promotions to the deal room, so that web environment where we present our offering to the client, to the prospect. Starting here, I would like to show you that we have really nicely implemented tooltips where the sales rep has the right information at the right positioning. So this makes the process more effective because the information are there where they are needed. In that case, we can see here that the differences of the licenses between standard, enterprise, and you can see which features are included here, and also the information about the list prices per user. When I'm going to now to select now the standard license, for example, you see here that additional fields and questions are popping up. As a standard, it's said that 20 licenses are needed in that package, and we also have a duration of the subscription of 3 months. We can change that here to 36 months. We can change here also the user licenses. But first, before I change something here, I would like to show you that this immediately appears here in the product summary. With the quantity, with the duration, you can see the price here and also the totals of it. No discounts given yet, and you can see the net price total as a summary as well. When I'm now going to change something here, for example, from 20 to just for example 100, and you can see here that this changes now also because I increase the amount of the licenses, that there's now a different price set for that because of the amount of the licenses. When I'm now also going to change here from a standard to an enterprise license, you can see here that with the same licenses, there are also admin licenses suggested because of the higher package. And there it's set as a default setting that it's recommended to have about 10% admin licenses added to that package. And we have that now here in the product summary then as well, these admin licenses. And I can now also change the duration if I would like to 36 months. And then when I'm changing the start date from today to beginning of next month as a starting date, it also automatically calculates the end date. for the duration of 36 months. This is now the first step, and then me as a sales rep, I'm going through the process, adding also implementation services. Like when I'm opening that up, I can here say, stay current for the next 3 years, because I have selected the duration of 36 months for the subscription. And then you can also see here that this immediately shows up here as a package 3 times for each year, and also with the total here calculated. Going through to the next steps, you can already see here that we have mandatory fields also implemented, like the support level that needs to be selected. Here again, nicely implemented tooltips where we can see what a basic, standard, or premium support level would mean. I'm just selecting one now at the standard one. And I can also select if an on-site workshop for the beginning of the project would be needed. I'm selecting here yes, and then I can also say if an implementation team would be needed. I can see then, as soon as I select it, that there are hours set as a default. So for a project manager, for engineering hours, and also solution architects. These are then now the minimum of hours. You can see that I'm not be able to go below these suggested amounts. So you can see here, this is all rule-based, and we can set some guidelines that the sales rep is not able to change anything that would not go into the right direction. And going then to the next step is that I can see here something about the contract management. If you have a big client, they may be asked to extend the payment terms from 30 to 60 days, for example. And I can also change something in the terms. So here, this section you can find here. You are able as a sales rep to fully edit the terms and conditions, but there is also the way to add pre-approved terms. But now I would like to show you that I'm able to change anything here in the terms by just adding terms, and then you can see, if I'm going down, that an approval workflow has appeared because non-standard payment terms. That means the sales rep is now aware that this proposal needs to be approved first before we can send it out to the prospect. If I would like to communicate now with the legal department, I'm able to immediately shoot a message out to the colleagues. Therefore, I first will save the draft, and then by clicking here on Deal Talk, I'm able to add a colleague of mine, and then please check the changes, for example. So I can immediately, within the process of creating that quote, can communicate to my internal departments. So it is also very nicely and makes the process more efficient. But then going down, I have here another section that affects the design and the contents of the deal room, which I will show you in a second. So therefore, I'm able to select if I would like to add a case study, for example. I would do that here. And the good thing is also that the suggestions here are rule-based. There's a logic behind. So if I have here a client from a specific industry, from a specific country, with the size of a company, the system already suggests good choices for the case studies I can add here. And then I can also select what I would like to show in the deal room. I can untick everything and just select what I would like to show. But to demonstrate it to you, of course, I leave it all in. And then I have here other things I can go through, what then will affect the deal room. I will not go through that now all in detail. I want to go to the product summary instead. So the product summary, you saw already that things has added to it, and that everything is calculated here, like a total amount and also all the pricings with a specific duration. And this is the working area of the sales rep. And the sales rep can be creative here on providing discounts to the prospect. Let me just show you two things or a few things that I'm able to do here. If I would like to give a discount on the licenses, I can just go into this here and say, I would like to give 10%. Then you can see that this has been calculated and here is a lock. So this price is now locked. And in total, this 10% on the licenses means of the total amount, it's 5.41%. And if I would like to give in total a discount of 8%, it still sticks to the 10% on the licenses because this is locked. And the other percentages are divided through the other positions. I can also say I would like to give here a discount on the total price because this was discussed with the end client, that I change something here. And then I also get some notes that something is not possible here because it extends the amount of discount you can give. If I change that here now to 20%, you can still see that this sticks to the 10%, and the other positions are then divided through these positions. If I go beyond that limit, just to show you some options, is that you can see here, you can say there are some limits for the personal hours of your solution architects, for example, that you keep the margin of their working hours. And then you say there's a limit and all the other discounts then are divided through the other positions. So there's the logic behind it, and it really reduces the risk of making mistakes for the sales rep. All right. Then you can see here also that not only the standard payment terms has been changed and that there's a approval needed, but also the discount limits has been exceeded. That's why not only the sales manager, also the sales VP, but also the CFO needs to approve that proposal, that quote, before we can send it out to the prospect. This is now how to go through the process, set up the quoting. I talked a lot about the deal room already, and that's why I would like to go to the deal room now with you. By just clicking here on Preview Deal Room. And then you can see here that immediately in real time, this deal room is ready for you. This can be designed in your CI using your images, using your entire CI design. And then you have all these nice sections here. Like you can have a greeting from a sales rep, from the VP product, from the CEO, just to give a nice introduction. You can have that section here with trust building logos of the clients you're working with. You can implement videos and your standard sales pitch deck that it's present to the prospect. We also have other modules that can be implemented here to just give other options to provide some informative content. And here you can also see then the pricing table we have worked on in the playbook. So this is then now also available for the client. The totals and also the one-time fees can be seen here. We have another section here with the terms and conditions. You can see here also that what I have added to it is also visible. Of course, this is a preview. It's not approved yet to send it out to the prospect, but it will be visible here. And then another nice part is that we also have an environment where we can exchange documents. So like a signed NDA, for example, can be uploaded here. Both sides, the client and also the sales rep, can provide information here. And then we also have this section with the billing and shipment information that is always needed when you need to type in the right contact data and the right addresses. Then you can do it immediately here. And to round it up, of course, there's an e-signature solution from DealHub itself or with DocuSign. And the great thing is that everything is provided here in that really nice looking environment is tracked. That I can see that all my clients are looking at the contents I'm providing them, and me as a sales rep can then say, seems like you haven't looked at it yet, please do so. And the time that someone is spending on it is then really tracked. And I think me as a client, I would love to have that as a proposal from a company. And rounding it up a bit now, I want to resume what I have showed you now. So we have seen in the playbook the guided selling that is rule-based. It reduces the risk of making mistakes. And with the deal room, we also have really an engagement environment which differentiates a lot from what HubSpot is offering. But to go to a proper comparison between both solutions, I would like to give the word back to Carl.
Thanks, Fabian. A great demo. I think you really see the power of DealHub. So I'm trying to share my screen again for the last slide. So thanks everybody for sticking with us. Let me see if I can. Voila, this is my last slide. Everybody can see DealHub quoting versus HubSpot CPQ.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So as key takeaway, I think we can say that HubSpot has a fantastic quoting tool. It's simple yet powerful, but it is indeed also simple. And I think for certain types of clients, certain companies need more sophistication. Getting back to what Wouter said, certain clients have a bigger need to avoid errors, to go faster, have more complicated ways of quoting. And in that case, you may be leaning more towards a DealHub solution because it guides you more through the selling process. It allows you to make product configurations, add product dependencies, has advanced approval flows, and last but not least, collaborative deal rooms. And here I'm only mentioning the real big differences with HubSpot because HubSpot has also a number of features that DealHub has, but DealHub really has it's a real CPQ where you can configure the product, configure a project. You can really price it, discount it with automation, with checks and balances, with approvals on multiple levels. And that makes a huge difference for larger organizations that really need to make sure that the quoting goes efficiently, effectively, and without errors. We have a nice document with more in-depth feature comparisons. It would take us too much time to really go through it because then we probably need 20 more minutes, but we will be sharing that with the participants of today so you can look at it yourself afterwards. All right, so time for questions. Any questions? Did you like it? Is it corresponding to what you expected, actually?
Thomas from HubSpot here. Like I learned a ton today, and I think it's so interesting, Carl and the Elixir team there, to see the breadth of what you offer. Right, we have a HubSpot solution, which is just the queue of the CPQ. Right, we're the scooter. And then we have DealHub on the other hand, and Sam, who is the spacecraft, like if you need the full thing. And then we got Elixir's own solution in the middle, kind of the Tesla. It can't fly, but it does a brilliant job, right? I love the way, like the variety. And then it's just a matter of uncovering what are the requirements for your company, right? And see what's the best fit.
Exactly. It was really a pleasure to have everybody here attending. I want to have a special thanks for Fabian, who did a great job, for Wouter, also helping not only with the CPQ, but also organizing the events. Laura, obviously, and DealHub and HubSpot. It was a pleasure to have you. It was an honor to have you actually. And of course, all the participants, super that you could take an hour of your day. We know you're all super busy, so it's a really honor to have you here. So if no more questions, I think we can wrap it up. And you know how to find us if you have any further questions.